Hello and welcome to Let's Speedrun The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX No Save and Quit, No Wrong Warp, No Out of Bounds. I'm just calling that No Save and Quit from now on. I'm your host Orlax7, and in this episode we're going to go over D1. This is going to be a lot shorter than the first video because I won't have to do as much explaining, and Dungeon 1 is very short as it is. So, first thing we do, obviously, is enter the dungeon. So we're going to get I like to get a little wall clip going on here, it's not necessary. But just walk by this enemy, swing your sword to the left, stand on this button, open the chest, and then save and quit, or bring up the save and quit menu. After you do that, you want to hold your sword up, walk around, get another wall clip here. This makes this trick a lot easier. And just do, nope, that's not how we do that. Wow, I like how I'm messing it up. I never mess this up in gameplay. Just do that. So the way this trick works is you want to wall clip into these statues here, and then when you get Link gets right around here or so, you release your sword. It's really simple. If you fail it, that's not the end of the world. You can do something like that if you're struggling with it. But there you go. Oops. You should be getting that 90% of the time, unlike what I'm doing right now. Alright. Get a wall clip going on here. That's my personal preference. Our goal is going to be to dodge this Moldorm if possible. I find that hanging on this left side here, you dodge him more than 60% of the time. Whoops, didn't make a new save state. That's okay. Just like that. So I like to just kind of walk through there. Very, very rarely the Moldorm will come over here. Like, he'll come in this area and then push you left. And if that's the case, you'll be like right here when you enter the screen, or like right here. Just trigger that trap and then go on. I'm gonna go over another trick called Exo Boost. If you get hit there, it's not the end of the world. There's another trick called Exo Boost where it looks like that. That's very inconsistent, and if you fall in the pit, you're wasting a lot of time. So I don't really do that. So the real strat is just go walk around and do something like that. Simple. Then you walk up here. Pay attention to this guy. If he starts shaking when you're right around this area, just kill him. Swing your sword, kill him. Remember that you killed an extra enemy for piece of power. That's something that you have to keep in the back of your mind. Otherwise, just walk around him. So we just want to make sure we're touching the northern wall. If we are touching the northern wall, we could just bypass that spark, push that, and then we have this room, which is kind of RNG. Your RNG depends on, basically the way you do this room depends on the way this guy is moving. If he's moving up or to the right, you're gonna move diagonally in and just bump him right away. If he moves to the left, I'm gonna try to demonstrate all of them. So he moved up, so that's what you do there. Kind of get that first guy to look at you, then you move down a little bit just to get the other guy to look at you. This one, you do exactly that. Get the first guy to look at you, then go lower, and the one you have to watch out for is if he goes down, this is not how you're supposed to handle that room, by the way. If he goes down, you have to, if that spike beetle goes down, you bump the first one, then you have to go down there and get him, and you can be kind of finicky with flipping over in that case. So just keep that in mind. So last time, I'll just do this room one more time. I got one of the better RNGs. Keep track whether or not you killed both of them. If you knock an enemy into a pit, it does not count for a piece of power. So you kind of want both kills if possible. Alright. Little movement optimization is you can move diagonally through those. Saves a little bit of time. And if for some reason you're really low on health, you can jump on a Goomba and they'll give you a heart. Only if you land on them. So we go upstairs, we get a wall clip going on here. This is actually kind of important, but not too important. So the goal for this room is to do something like this. You kind of just want to move a little bit to the right, and then hold right as you get hit. You can get damage boosted a little bit, saves a little bit of time. If you are really low on health, I'm not very good at this strat. You could do something like you face up and then you put your shield out. I really don't know much about how to do that strat very well. I'm very bad at it. Open the chest, bring up the save and quit menu, cancel the save and quit menu. Now we have the Roc's Feather. Now we want to equip the Roc's Feather and the bow. And I'm going to make a very brief aside about menuing in this game. I love menuing. If you don't want to hear me talk about it, just go ahead and skip ahead. Your goal for menuing is every time you menu, it costs 2 seconds. So you want to minimize the number of menus you do if at all possible. And the way you do that, obviously, is by following a really good menu route and making sure to keep the amount of inputs per menu to a minimum. Not because it's necessarily faster or you save more frames, but just because it makes it easier. So one way, just keep in mind that if you're at the top of the menu, you can push up and you'll go down to the bottom. If you're at the bottom, you can push down to go up. If you're at the left side of the menu, you can push left and it'll take you up and right. And if you're on the right side of the menu, you can push right and it'll take you one and down. So when I do this menu, I actually go down one and do something like that because it made it a lot more consistent. Back in the day, you would see me do something like that, which I used to miss a lot. Just throwing that out there. But moving on. Jump over those guys. You normally will have like 1 heart left, so you pick that up. And that'll fill your hearts back because those heart fairies give you 3 hearts of health. Be very careful about not wasting any arrows. So just make sure you're using just the feather at this point to jump. So for this room, actually I should mention, I'll talk about it later. But for this room, I like to line up dead center, and then we can do a little damage boost like that. If you're not dead center, if you're lined up right there, you can just do something like that. Not a big deal. So I'm gonna go over Roc's Feather movement. So whenever you walk diagonally in this game, you suffer a kind of a movement penalty. You move at 12 subpixels per frame, whereas if you move just left, right, up, or down, you're moving at 16. So you move slightly slower when walking diagonally. However, if you jump diagonally, you move at 16 subpixels per frame. So you move at the same speed as you normally would. So let's not take damage there. So whenever you have the Roc's Feather out and you want to move in any direction at all, you can just make sure you jump to do it. You can do it straight diagonal, or you can do like a curved jump or something. If there's any time where you need to move diagonally in any way, shape, or form, just jump. Except if you have Piece of Power, but we'll talk about that later. So we go into this next room. We need to get that chest. So I like to run till Link is about right here on the gray tiles. Jump to the right, push back left real quick, and then we'll open the chest. That helps me dodge the spark. Oh, I did that way too early. I like how I'm making so many mistakes now. Open the chest with your feather button. You can open chests with B in this game, just so you know. Bring out the same quit menu. Alright. We're gonna go over super jumping now. So, remember our old friend the wall clip? We need to get a wall clip facing down. So we need to kind of beat that guy. Make sure we're in the wall. Super jumping looks a little something like this. We make the game think we're kind of on a cliff, and we can jump over objects that way, in a way that's not intended. Super jumping only works with your bow, your sword, or your fire rod. So those are the only 3 items that you can use to super jump. So the way a super jump works: you wall clip into the wall you want to super jump from. Walk into that wall. So I'm wall clipped. Walk down. Jump while facing that direction. And then at some point in your jump, push the opposite direction, and then push the sword, bow, or fire rod. So I'm wall clipped, down, jump, and A. Wall clip, jump, wall clip, down, jump, A. You kind of want to do that as fast as you can, so typically at the peak of your jump is when you try to do the super jump. It's a little tricky to get used to if you're new to it. Just keep at it, get some practice. If you're really worried about wasting arrows, you can just have your sword out at this point. It wastes 1 menu, but if that's what it takes, it's not a big deal. Now we get the Nightmare Key. Open up the save and quit menu. We're gonna do another type of super jump by just wall clipping into this little area. Jump and then hold down right. Whoops, didn't work that time. Sometimes it works. It takes 2 tries, but there you go. Simple. We're going to do another wall clip, or a super jump that looks like that. That one's a little tough because it's really fast, but it's the same formula. Wall clip, jump, face down. Wall clip, face up, jump, down A. If you're having trouble with it, you can like jump over that guy and then do something like that. Keep in mind that you did not kill that Keese, so I'm gonna make sure I do that for my route. That's part of my piece of power route. This room, you want to kill that Stalfos without falling in the pit. And there we go. Let me go to this mini boss. The game does not assume you have. It assumes you should not have arrows at this point, so you can just shoot 2 arrows at the boss and you're good. Okay. Ideally in this room you go to the right. I actually go to the left and then to come around. Trigger that trap, and then you can make it into this door. So when we enter a boss room, there's going to be text the boss says buzz buzz in the US version. If you pause shortly after you enter the boss room, like when after the first door closes, you'll skip this text. So, and actually in this case we're going to bring our sword out. You should do it like that. And this boss is a little tricky. The formula for this boss is you want to jump over him and swing your sword at his tail. And it looks something like that. It's a little tough to get used to. Just try to take your time, just practice it. If you do get knocked into a pit, just hold buffer up and B. Just hold up and B when you're in that screen transition, you'll jump right out. So you cancel the text. I'm going to go over spin strats real quick. I'm going to advance the game a little bit. So when you enter the room, if he starts to face down in any way, you can charge your sword and face down, and most often you'll get a spin. You can get a spin slash on him, which actually kills him a little bit fast. It does 2 hits of damage instead of the normal one. So, whoops. I actually got bad RNG in that one. But it would look like that. Normally it takes 4 hits, but in that case we did it in 3. Then we'll get the heart. Jump when you get the heart, because whenever doors open or close in this game, they lag the game a little bit. In this case, if there's 2 doors opening, it lags the game for 14 frames, and if there's only 1 door opening, it lags the game for 8 frames. But for some reason, if you're in the air, it cancels out that door lag. So you jump when the door opens. Same thing here, jump when that door closes. You just can hold B during the screen transition, and then grab the instrument. And that's going to be it. That's it for the split. Cancel the text, and I will see you next time. We will go to Dungeon 2 and talk about Flock Skip 2. Thanks for watching, everyone.